Welcome to my next playthrough series. Yes, it's Pandemic Legacy Season 1. We are into June. Yeah, we got trouble. I partially set things up. We have CDCs, permanent ones that we have played up through May so far on the board. We have a couple of military bases here on the board. We have Outbreak for the for these horrible guys. The red, our red Code A403D has turned into the zombie apocalypse, and we have a win bonus for May if you win any game in May, which we did. For any game played in June after setup, so we got to get everything set up, and before the first turn begins, add 3 roadblock markers anywhere on the board. So we're going to keep that in mind. All right, let's take a look at the stop deck. So this basically says, do not draw any more cards. Draw this card just before you set up your first game in June, which I've got things partially set up, and we'll be starting in Essen, maybe, I think. So we flip this over. There's a bunch of boxes we have to open. June mission briefing. You're our best team, and you are doing exactly what we need you to do, but even you can't do the job without the right equipment. We're gathering resources to help your team do what's asked for. Pick up your equipment at military bases and research stations. Okay, so let's take a look at J46, 17, 3, and 2 and figure out what that's all about. Alright, first up is J off of our secret pile there. So it says here, equip. Add a military equipment sticker to a card in your hand if you're at a military base, or add a medical equipment sticker to a card in your hand if you're a research station. Each city card can have only one sticker. So we'll be putting, I believe, stickers onto our city cards now. They'll probably give us some benefits. So that was J. Let's take a look at 46. Alright, so popping out 46, we have a new action now that we can take, equip, which is basically what that just said. So we're going to add this to all of our little action cards. We're going to be adding another line on there for another action we can take. So far we can take military shuttle. If you're a military, and you can build roadblocks between connecting regions, and now we can put equipment stickers on city cards. So just let me get that set up, and then we'll be taking a look at 17. Alright, so we're going to look at 17, 3, and 2. That's the last ones we need to look at on the card. And I think we have a new character as well. So we've got 2, 3, and 17. So these are stickers we can put onto city cards now. So one of them is induced pluripotent stem cells. This card can be used as a city card of any color when finding a cure. Not an action. Cool. We got a military drone escort. Discard this card when you drive ferry into a collapsing or fallen city. You do not need to spend any additional cards to do it. So there's a couple of those. We have a grenade belt and a field hospital. So field hospital, discard to add a research station to your city regardless of panic level. For this turn only, it may not be made permanent. We have 2 grenade belts. Discard anytime to remove 1 faded figure from the city you're in. That's pretty good. And then we have 3 hazmat suits. Discard this card when starting your turn in a city containing faded figures. You do not have to take a scar. Okay, so those are stickers we can add to city sheets now, or city cards now. And, oh man, so many things to look at. So that's basically the setup for June. Carrying on then in the stack, we have, it looks like, a new character. And underneath that is do not draw any more cards. At the end of your first game in June, before selecting your game and upgrades, open the following door and then draw this card. Okay, so we're finished with that. Well, let's take a look at our new character that has possibly shown up. We have now a soldier. We'll have to give him a name. And let's see, you do not gain a scar if you begin your turn in a city with faded figures. Well, that's good. For an action, you may pick up an equipment card from the discard pile. Ooh, wow. That's pretty good, so we can keep... Ooh, we have to use this guy, I think. And you cannot discover... Oh, he can't discover a cure. He will have a relationship with one of our other characters. Alright, I got to name this guy. I think we're going to be taking him with us. Oh boy. And then we have to set up... Well, we have to basically decide which of our characters we are going to be taking with us. I think probably the soldier will be a good idea because we'll probably have a lot of faded stuff going on over there. So yeah, let's get everything else set up. Alright, so taking a look at the characters that we will be playing for our early June, I don't know if we're going to win this one. As you can see, we've gotten very lucky. So we lost our very first January. Then we won. So this is our funding. So we get 0 funding, which we get no bonus cards. That's not good. So we basically won February, we won March, we won April, we won May. We're into June. So we're going to be playing with Trevor, Nick, Zach, and Gwen. We'll see what happens. So let's take a look at each one of them. So taking a look at Trevor. Trevor is family with Claire. Claire's not playing. But he's friends with Nick. Nick is he is playing with us. So there we go. So he's friends with Nick. If you start your turn in the same city as a friend, you may look at the top card but not arrange the 2 top cards of the player deck. So you get a little bit of advance notice. He's got remove all cubes of color. We're doing treat disease. Automatically remove cubes of cured disease from the city you're in and prevent them from being placed. So he just walks through. And he has local connections. Once per turn, you may treat disease in a city connected to your city. He is our superstar, I think. So that is Trevor. We're looking at Nick. I just described friends, so he's friends with Trevor. As an action, build a structure in a city you are in, no card required. This is pretty cool. Once per turn, as an action, move from any city containing a structure to any city, including riding, collapsing, fallen, by discarding any card. So he can move around quickly, building structures. We'll take a look at our 4 objectives here. One of them is to have a military base in every region. There's 7 regions, I believe, on the board. And we did take a quick look at Zach. Now, Zach is going to be family with Gwen. If you start your turn in the same city as family, gain an extra action. So he'll be getting 5 actions instead of 4 because they're all going to start, I believe, in Essen, but we'll take a look at the setup. So you don't get a scar if you begin your turn in a city with a faded figure. Everyone else does. For an action, you could pick up an equipment card from the discard pile. That's really quite useful. And you cannot discover a cure. That's not useful, but we're going to have to rely on everyone else to discover cures, I guess. And up last, Gwen. She's co-workers with Vicky. Vicky's not playing. However, she's family member with Zach, so there we go. We know how that works. She does have 2 scars, though. If you get a 3rd scar, you're lost. So this could be scary for Gwen, but we'll see. So she's paranoid. You cannot share knowledge except with someone you have a relationship with. Oh, that's really bad because Zach can't cure anything. But Zach can give her cards, so that's okay. Terrified. It takes 1 more action for you to drive ferry to a city containing faded figures, so we'll just keep her out of there. I like her ability to once per turn. You can use the quarantine action to place a quarantine marker anywhere on the board. Quarantine markers are never removed from the city you are in. I wonder if we should have her go before. You know what? We're going to have her go before Zach. I'm just trying to figure out the order of play here as well. So our turn order is going to be Trevor, Nick, Gwen, Zach. We each get 3 cards to start with. So we're just going to get the city cards, and we're going to dole out 3 to each of our 4 characters. I believe it is 3, yes. So let's see. So Trevor's going to get London, and then he's going to get Riyadh, where there is a base, and he gets Ho Chi Minh City. Trevor, or I should say Nick, gets San Francisco, and he also gets Hong Kong, and then lastly he gets Santiago, yellow card. Wow, okay, Gwen gets, I shuffle these 2 well, Bogota, and she also gets Milan, and lastly she gets Kolkata. And Zach, our soldier, is going to get Bangkok. Osaka. Okay, cool, because we need him to get over there. And Tokyo. So how appropriate, because he does not take a problem from faded cities. All right, I got to break this into 5 equal parts. And yes, of course, shuffle in each of the 5 equal parts one of the epidemic cards and get that set up as our player deck. So I'll do that off screen. We'll come back and continue with our setup. Alright, so we have the outbreak token placed on the 0. Of course, if we get to 8 outbreaks, we lose the game, or we lose that month. If we have our infection rate tracker going up every time there's an outbreak, this will be going up 1. And we have 4 objectives. Let's have a look at them. And because we are doing June right on the board here, we must complete 3 of the 4 objectives, same as last month. Our first objective, discover, oh, and this is mandatory, we must do this one. Discover cures for the 3 normal diseases. This must be one of the objectives you complete to win the game. Oof, well, that's always tough. We have one of these. Have a military base in each of the 6 major regions of the world, or 6 major regions. We can do that with having Nick on our side. That's somewhat easily done. Eradicate at least 1 disease. That is tough. And the other one here is quarantine 7 faded cities over there. These quarantines must be in place at the end of the game for this objective to be met. So we have to, of course, cure 3 diseases, do 1 of these other 2, and then have 7 quarantines. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this is going to be brutal. And now it is time to set up the actual disease cubes on the board. I do believe in setup you place your characters before that. I'm going to just double check the rules because we might be able to place our characters out after we set up the infections on the table. And I've already messed up the rules. It's only 2 cards per player. So I'm just going to shuffle them down here in the order they would have been drawn out. So yeah, I'm going to have to reshuffle some decks, but that's okay. That's okay. So we're not going to have those red cards for Zach. Darn it. Okay. All right. Fixed that. So now Trevor's got London, Ho Chi Minh City. Nick's got Riyadh, Hong Kong. Gwen has San Francisco, San Diego. And Zach has Bogota and Kolkata. And I gotta shuffle these back into this deck that I've already shuffled and set up. So I'll get back to that here in a second. All right. So for setup, because we have faded our red cards, I would add a faded figure. When you draw them, that does not apply to the setup. So because Trevor got Ho Chi Minh City and Nick got Hong Kong, we're not going to add a faded there. All right, speaking of adding faded characters to the board, how about any cubes to the board? We're going to shuffle up this deck, which has all the locations on the board, and we're going to place out our initial disease cubes and or faded, and we'll see what happens from there. And yes, we have to place our characters down first, so I put them all in Essen. That's, I think, where we're going to begin. All right, the first 3 cards are going to get 3 each. 1, 2, 3. The next 3 will get 2, and the next 3 will get 1. So we have Baghdad's going to get 3. New York will get 3. Oof, Bangkok getting 3. That is bad. All right, those are the 3s. Let's see which ones are going to get 2. We have Washington getting 2, Tehran getting 2, San Francisco getting 2. All right. And lastly, these ones will be getting 1. So 1, 2, 3. What do we have? Lagos, Buenos Aires, and Hong Kong. All right, let me get that set up onto the board, and we will go from there. All right. Yeah, let me get these set up. So these are going to get 3, 2, 1. I'll get this set up. Alright, so we got the board set up. We've got some stuff going on here. New York, Washington, San Francisco. We got Tehran and Baghdad here looking a little bit bad. And Bangkok with 3 faded, 1 in Hong Kong. So, yeah. That's how we're set up. Alright, let's take a look at our actual diseases and what's happening with that, and then I think I'm going to leave it off there as a setup for today. When we get back tomorrow, we'll get into gameplay. Alright, so looking at our diseases, we've got Cobra 403. It has common structure, so Cobra 403, Milan Pox, and Zombie X all have common structure right now, which means you no longer have to be in a research center to discover the cure, so that's going to help. And of course our faded, which is code 403 or 403D, code A, cannot be cured, cannot be eradicated, on and on. What is it actually? There's an entire jumble of stuff here. It says, cannot be treated or cured, place faded figures instead of cubes, convert infected cities to faded cities, add a faded figure when drawing a player card matching the color. So, and there's a lot of these. I think there's like 40 or 50 of them. However, they can show up pretty fast on the board. All right, we're going to zoom out and we're going to wrap up our episode for today. just before we wrap up, yes, I almost forgot one of our setup. We won May, so for any game in June after setup, before the first turn begins, which is right now, add 3 roadblock markers anywhere on the board. So what I'm going to do for the 3 roadblocks, whoops, I grabbed 4, is we are going to roadblock everything over here. Tokyo, across here, across the sea, Pacific Rim, we're blocking that off, and we're also blocking off Sydney right there. So basically we're building a wall here so that if anything gets out of control for our faded, it's not going to jump across to North and South America. That's the idea. Is it gonna pan out for us? I don't know. We'll find out in future episodes. So thanks so much for watching along. This is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. We're into June. We have no help from funding because we're just so good, obviously. We've got Trevor, Nick, Zach, and Gwen taking on the apocalypse here. So we'll see how it goes starting up tomorrow. So thanks so much for watching along. And yep, we'll pick it up tomorrow with getting into gameplay.